Hello and welcome to the Gaggle, where we challenge and, if necessary, destroy media narratives. Well, the Democratic Party is having its national convention this week to give the nomination to Joe Biden and his vice presidential pick, Kamala Harris. In looking at how they have set this up and the people they have invited, I'm calling it the middle finger convention here. This is something Stalin would be very proud of. What do I mean by that? AOC is given 1 minute pre-recorded, okay? We also have the Young Turks, though I don't necessarily agree with them. They're progressives. They're not given credentials to cover it. Though my understanding is they're being allowed to cover the Republican virtual convention. In many ways, this is very much controlled. I am Peter Lavelle, and I'm joined by Lionel. He needs no introduction here, a media expert, among other things. And we have George Szamuely. He is an author, commentator, and one of the founders of the Gaggle channel. Lionel, let me go to you. The middle finger convention. Do you think that's an appropriate description of what we're going to see this week?
Indeed. I also, Peter, do not understand, and George, have to take anything that one would call conventional wisdom, everything that I thought would make sense, and just throw it out of the works. First of all, the fact that Kamala Harris, everybody, and I know, let me just say, some really good insiders, really good, who said no way would Kamala Harris ever do it because they want somebody more Manchurian-esque, somebody who's more malleable. Okay, so much for that. Then you would think they would at least pay some kind of lip service to the progressive, whatever this AOC wing is, by at least pretending to not alienate them even more, especially you have a youth problem after what they did with Bernie, again, giving it to the finger to them. So I can't figure out what any of this is. But my real question is, what is that first debate going to look like? That's later on. And how is Biden actually going to be, and this is very sad to say this, how is he going to be able to even formulate the simplest of ideas without prompting?
But Lionel, you're assuming there will be a debate. I think that is very much in question right now. That could be the quote unquote what we call the October surprise in September here. Let me go to George. George, this is going to be so scripted here, and what I think is really tragic is that you're going to have the mainstream media, barring obviously Fox and some other news outlets, they already have the script in front of them. I mean, it's embargoed, I would well believe. And we've already seen is that there'll be no criticism of the Harris nomination for vice president here. But Lionel is absolutely right, and this is something I've talked about so much, is that the DNC, the party leaders, they have all their venom really for the progressives, not for the GOP. Because if you look in Congress, the stimulus packages, the bailouts, there's a lot of brouhaha about that. I understand it. But, at the end of the day, the Democrats usually give Trump what he wants, defense spending and stuff like that. So, what this is about is to control the leftist narrative. And Lionel is absolutely right. Find someone that like a vice presidential pick that is pliable and easy to mold. But no, that's Joe. They've reversed positions right now. And we'll talk about that in another video. But scripted to what end? I mean, is it there's complete unity? This is what they want to show: complete unity against the great orange bad man in the White House.
Well, the conventions of the modern era have indeed been scripted every 4 years, ever since the 1972 debacle with the George McGovern convention, when it wasn't scripted and all sorts of strange people came to the lectern and gave all sorts of strange speeches.
Well, but George, don't you think in 2016, because the Bernie bros did kick up some dust?
Yes, but at the same time, they knuckled under. And despite all of the humiliations, remember there was the disclosure of the WikiLeaks disclosure of all the indignities that had been heaped on the Bernie bros and how rigged the whole primary season had been. But even so, Bernie swallowed everything. And the progressives are going to swallow this as well. I mean, AOC complains, oh, I've only been given a minute and so on. But she'll take it. She'll give her a minute. She'll give her endorsement of Biden. Their main goal is to win. That's all they care about. And if that means putting AOC on for 1 minute and all the others, Tlaib and Ilhan Omar and Presley and everyone else, shove them into the background, so be it. That they're going to put Mrs. Obama, Obama's wife there. That's what they want to do, and she'll give her usual. When they go high, when they go low, we go high, whatever it was. And yeah, she'll do that, and that's the way they're going to do it. So
yeah, but it looks like
Obama, everything that's still Bill Clinton. Let's feel good. We're all united. We're all in this together. Let's get that bum Trump out of here.
Yeah, but Lionel, it looks like the Oscars of left-wing politics. This is all it is here. They're all giving each other awards. They're all giving each other applause because. And one of the things we'll talk about in another video soon is that, as much as the Trump administration, or I should say the Trump campaign, has characterized the platform of the Democrats, it's really not much about policy. It's all this is a beauty contest, because if you look at Kamala Harris, I mean, what in the world is she doing as a vice presidential nominee when she's a part and parcel of the neoliberal apparatchiki deep state, et cetera. I mean, how can they have a law and order former district attorney, state attorney on a platform where they want to defund the police? I mean, it's just a beauty contest. They don't really want to talk about her because you can't criticize her. It's because she checks all the boxes, I guess.
Peter, you are the most vicious questioner, because you give me about 75 things to jump on, and then you say, I don't even know where to start. Let me start with this. A friend of mine who was a neurologist one time explained to me an EEG as listening to the roar of a stadium and trying to guess the score. And I've always thought, that's beautiful. I don't understand it. That's the Democratic Party is. I'm trying to use, as George says, history, precedent, logic. What would I do if I was this venal and corrupt? It's almost like they're saying this. And there's an old expression that says, just because I'm paranoid doesn't mean no one's after me. And just because I'm conspiratorial doesn't mean there's not a conspiracy. But it's almost as though, I submit to you, gentlemen, for your edification and review, the following. It's as though whoever is in charge of this, whether it's whoever the deep state or ruling class is, it's almost like they're saying, it doesn't matter what we do. We're going to take this election, either by voting, by some type of fraud. We don't even care about this. If only we could just say, look, let's just vote now, because we have all of the votes. We learned from 2016 that we will never let a Trump candidate in. And in 4 years, we have shored up everything. Think about this, gentlemen. Social media, regular media, mainstream media, music, entertainment. The right doesn't exist. For 4 years, they have said, no matter what you do, no matter what you say, this is going to be a full-on war against Trump. And by the way, parenthetically, if God forbid, well, if he were to be not reelected, there goes whatever the media are about. But I can't figure this out. My biggest fear right now is they are saying, because they're telling you, we're going to do this through mail-in voting. That's it. So you can argue about AOC. You can argue. In the long run, it does not matter, because we're going to take this. And if you dare try to take this to court, we're going to do what we did with General Flynn. We own the courts. We own everything. Good luck. Have at it. We're taking this one. That's what I'm worried about.
Well, I think this, George, is such a really good explanation, because that is devoid of politics, isn't it? It's all about the system. Okay, and how you manage the system. It has nothing to do where what stance they have. I mean, Black Lives Matter, whatever that's supposed to mean. That's an emotive thing. It's not really a policy thing. Because if you actually go to Black Lives Matter's website, I think you'd be horrified by what you see. But again, it's not really a policy platform. It is a evocative. It's an emotional experience. And oh, by the way, we got the system stapled down. Go ahead, George.
Yes. Well, that's it. The Democratic Party, as we were saying the other day, is an extraordinary political party. It's not like any political party that has ever existed. They're not really about any ideas or issues or agenda. They are about power. They just want that power for themselves, and they want that power in perpetuity. If you look at these people, Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, Bill Clinton, Barack Obama, I mean, these people don't believe anything. I mean, or Biden or Kamala Harris, they don't believe in anything. They just believe in their divine right to rule. It was a shock to them, the 2016 defeat. They weren't expecting this. They never accepted this. They then got the deep state, the entire apparatus of the government, and deployed it against the incumbent president, seeking to destroy the presidency from within. That didn't work. They're going to do everything they can to rig this election. I mean, Lionel talked about the mail-in voting, the social media. I mean, you ain't seen nothing yet about the censorship that's going to take place in this social media. I mean, there's going to be all kinds of accounts that will be canceled. I wouldn't be surprised if Trump's account will be canceled on Twitter at some point. And if Trump wins, there's going to be all hell will break loose, because there's no way in the world they're going to accept that Trump.
The same, we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. I think we need to abbreviate that. We'll jump off that bridge when we get to it. Lionel, let me get back to you, because I think it's really important. Is that, I listened to Biden had his earth-shaking comment about wearing masks, which of course is a very delicate political issue for so many people. But really at the core of it is getting rid of the Electoral College, making Washington, D.C. a state, packing the court. This goes back to what you said originally, is to control the system, not the politics. Go ahead. Because if you control the system, you will control the politics.
You are seeing right now almost a hybrid form of the ruling class that said, we will take either Democrats or Republicans, probably easier to take Democrats. We're going to use this. It's like a virus trying to enter into, or a parasite entering into the host. It doesn't matter. I don't think these people have any ideology. Right. The fear that I have, and let me explain this to you, gentlemen. This is what I have, in addition to rigged elections and stolen votes and that sort of thing. It's the following mindset. It's the individual who says, look, I'm tired. I can't take 4 more years of this. I'm not saying Trump's a bad guy. I'm sure he's done some wonderful things regarding unemployment. But all I know is I can't take 4 more years of this. And all I know is that when he got into office, that's when everything fell apart. And I'm not saying it's his fault. And I love the man. And I think he's right. But how bad could a Joe Biden, Kamala Harris election be? I mean, I withstood Jimmy Carter. How bad was Obama? That's the person. The person says, I want change. I can't take 4 more years. That is the mindset. And I am hearing this more and more from people who just say, I can't take it.
But that's how they're selling it here. But what did Barack Obama and Joe Biden do, George, for the middle class? Can you enlighten me? Do you need a whiteboard to enumerate? So Lionel is right, but he's terrifyingly right, because if we get this Obama, Biden, Harris regime back, yeah. I mean, what did they actually do except for hollow out the middle class and middle America, by the way? And in this saying, settle for Joe, I mean, that has got to be the most depressing slogan ever invented in American electoral politics. Wrap it up for us, George. Go ahead.
Yes. That's exactly right. The Obama-Biden years was about deindustrialization, shipping jobs overseas, and Obama smugly explaining to the American people, those jobs are gone forever. So don't even think about getting these jobs back. They're gone. And Biden was all with that. But what Lionel is saying is actually very, very significant, because what the Democrats have been playing for the last 4 years is essentially like a little child throwing tantrums. They're banging and screaming and throwing things around, impeachment, Russiagate, post office gate, whatever, there's always something. And to the point where people are just exasperated. So we can't take, this child stamping his feet and tearing his hair out and throwing things around the room anymore. and they'll say, just all right, be quiet. Let's just calm everything down. And I think the Democrats are counting on that. That if they kick up enough of a fuss, people just want, let's go back to a quiet life. We can't take another 4 years, 2 or 3 more impeachments, and God knows what else.
What kind of tantrum will they throw when they control all branches of government? Who's going to be pulling their hair out? It's going to be people that lost the election, not the people that won it. All right, gentlemen, thank you for joining me here on The Goggle. Thank you, Lionel. Thank you, George. Conversation to continue. Please like, share, and subscribe. Okay.